Hey everybody, Steve here, and here's a look at all the stories we're following from the AFR News Desk for August 11th, 2015. Our lead story this week comes from over at Replay Games, where in their newsletter yesterday, they just announced that they're going to have a limited edition collector's choice set, and it's going to be the 1994 season for their Replay baseball game. Now, if you're familiar with the other collector's choice sets that they've had out, it will be 9 teams from the season, and in the case of 1994, because the season didn't complete, it's the 9 teams that had the best record. So here's your chance to get the great 1994 Montreal Expos on your tabletop for Replay Baseball, and the twist with this set is that it's going to be limited to just 100 copies produced. It's due to ship on September 28th, but it will be just for those first 100 people who order the set. So head on over to the Replay Games website now if you're interested in picking that up. Also, Replay Games announced that they're now taking pre-orders for the 1955 season for Replay Baseball, and that is due to ship on September 17th. Next, we have a lot of Kickstarter news this week. First up, launched just yesterday, is Fantasy Football Draft Deals and Dice. This game is an interesting twist on tabletop football in that you'll actually be playing out a 4-game fantasy football season. So you'll start with an initial draft and then have to deal with player injuries and hot and cold streaks as you attempt to gain more fantasy points than your opponents. If you want to check out that campaign, there'll be links below the video, and if you're really into the game, there's even some pledge levels where you can get yourself onto one of the player cards. Also launched just this week is another creation from James Formo from Life is Sports Game, and this time it's Crack of the Bat Baseball. This game is being touted as a lighter gateway sports simulation game, and it's going to initially feature the 1934 Negro League season. A couple of campaigns that we've been following here at the channel that reached a successful conclusion in the last week, both Roll Saga Baseball and Pigskin Football, have both reached their funding goals and concluded their Kickstarter campaign. Roll Saga Baseball is set to come out in September, and Pigskin is due for an October release. Of course, those are anticipated ship dates, and we'll be staying tuned for production updates from both of those campaigns. And finally, a couple of campaigns that we've been following that are still active on Kickstarter. The 1940 season for Payoff Pitch Baseball is now almost $1,000 over its goal with 8 days left in the campaign. And Soccer City has had a recent surge in backers, and they are now just $5,000 short of their funding goal. Recently, they opened up a couple of different sponsor levels. So if you'd like to have your company's logo and name right on the game board, there are now a couple options available for you. Of course, links for all of these campaigns will be found, just like always, in the box below the video here. And now it's time for new releases. First up, over at Digging Deep Sports, the 2014-15 UEFA Champions League set is now available, as well as the 2014-15 Copa America Tournament set. Both of these are available for Digging Deep World's Game and Glory on the Pitch, and both can be purchased as a printed set or a PDF download. And lastly, there's a brand new game out, and it's available on the sportsreplays.net website, and it's called Drive Football, and it's by Box Score Dice Sports. And now it's time for the question of the week. So last week on the show, I asked everybody their thoughts on Kickstarter campaigns. There were only a couple of responses this week, and most of them were positive. However, there was one viewer, Accelerator, who said that he's potentially worried about protecting your intellectual property when you release a campaign on there. And it's certainly something to think about in this day and age of information being everywhere. And I guess it's probably the price of admission for when you launch something on a public funded campaign site like that. The chance that somebody's going to take your idea and run with it, and I guess it just gives you more incentive to get your product out there and put out the best one that you can. This week on the show, I'm very happy to say that we have the return of the Question of the Week contest. So this past week on the show, I put out the review for Hat Trick by Patrick Kowalski, and when he was sending me the game, there was a mix-up in the mail, and I actually ended up getting 2 copies of the game. So I have a brand new, still in shrink wrap, copy of Hat Trick that I'm going to make available for one lucky viewer. The contest works the same as always. 1, make sure that you're a subscriber to the channel. 2, like this video. And then finally 3, leave a comment below answering the question of the week. This week I'd like to know, what recent sports board game innovation are you most excited about? Now, as for myself, over at play.com, Keith Avalone has been putting out an in-season set for History Maker Baseball. This is going to be the 3rd year that that set has come out. And so what's going to happen this Saturday on August 15th will be approximately the 3/4 mark of the season, and he'll produce a season set of cards and then put them out, allowing you to play out the current season while it's still going on. Now, this is something I'd love to see other games do, although I'm not sure how feasible or viable it would be for other companies and for other game engines. In the way that History Maker Baseball works, with its aim of being in the general statistical range of results that players have and not trying to get down to the 100th of a percent within what somebody did, this is a great way to showcase that and putting out a season based on just 3/4 of the results, because generally what a player does over 3/4 of the season, it's not going to change that much the last quarter of the season. And it allows you to play the game for the current season much earlier than any other game system out there. So this set, it's due to come out later this month, and definitely looking forward to seeing that on my table. Can't wait to hear everyone's thoughts on what recent sports board game innovation they're most excited about, and I will showcase some comments on next week's show, and of course, one lucky viewer will be the winner of a brand new copy of Hat Trick. Good luck, guys. And now it's time for channel updates. So, over this past week, I got out the review of Hat Trick, as I said earlier. That's gotten a good response so far. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, please do. The next review that I'll be working on is going to be another AFR scouting report, and this time I'm going to be taking a look at fantasy football draft deals and dice that was just launched on Kickstarter. I'm going to try to have that review up by Saturday evening. Also this week, I'm going to have the return of the AFR 2-minute drill on the Dice Tower's Board Game Breakfast. That show usually goes up on Monday mornings. And of course, as always, the news will go up on Tuesday evening. Alright everybody, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. My name's Steve, and I'll see you next time after further review.